Okay, let's start with a question. It's a question you've probably never really stopped to ask yourself, but it might just be the most fundamental question about you there is.
I mean, seriously, what is that 3-pound universe inside your skull actually for? We all have the standard answers, right? It's for thinking, for feeling, for seeing. But what if the real reason is way, way stranger? What if the answer doesn't start with biology, but with physics?
And this is where our story takes a really sharp turn, because the path to understanding your own brain, it turns out, might begin with a number that seems to have absolutely nothing to do with you at all. That number is approximately 137. And this isn't just some random number I pulled out of a hat. Physicists have been obsessed with it for a century. It's called the fine structure constant, and it is quite literally woven into the fabric of reality itself. Yeah, so this isn't just any number. You can think of it like a fundamental setting on the control panel for the entire universe. So here's what it does. This number, which physicists call alpha, it determines the strength of electromagnetism, how light and matter interact. And get this, if it were even a tiny bit different, atoms wouldn't hold together, stars wouldn't shine, life as we know it would be completely impossible. It holds our whole universe together. And that's the big mystery, isn't it? Is reality just built on some lucky random number? Or is 137 telling us something incredibly profound about how the universe actually works? Well, a radical new theory suggests it's not random at all. This brings us to a completely new way of looking at, well, everything, from the smallest particles to us. This new idea is called relational closure physics, or RAF for short. Its core concept is simple but kind of mind-bending. The universe isn't made of things, it's made of relationships. And these relationships are constantly trying to find a stable, coherent pattern. So let's break that down. First, you start with the relationships, not the objects. That's rule number one. Second, stability only happens when these relationships form closed loops, kind of like completing an electrical circuit. And third, the entire system is always trying to minimize what the theory calls frustration, which is basically just any mismatch or contradiction in those loops. And here is the punchline for physics. A number like 137 isn't random. It's the optimal value, the perfect sweet spot, where the entire network of reality achieves a stable, low-frustration state. It's not magic. It's simply the number that works. Okay, so that's some pretty deep physics. But what on earth does it have to do with our original question? Well, it turns out the same exact logic might just be the perfect way to describe the thing inside your head. Think of this slide as our Rosetta Stone, okay? On the left, you've got physics. A stable particle is a closed loop of relations. A photon is a signal in that network. And alpha, 137, is the coupling strength. Now look at the right, the brain. A stable memory? That's a closed loop of neurons. A neural signal is, well, it's a signal. And your learning rate is your brain's coupling strength. You see? It's the same pattern. This is way more than just a clever analogy. The theory suggests that both the universe and your brain are basically running on the same software. They both connect information, send signals, spot problems, try to solve them, and search for a stable state. It's the same operating system, just on totally different hardware. So, if the brain is also a network that's trying to minimize frustration and find stability, what does that tell us about its actual purpose? This gets us right to the heart of the matter.
Let's just read that again because this is a powerful reframing. The brain is an adaptive mismatch buffer. This suggests its main job isn't just thinking, it's handling uncertainty.
So what is a mismatch buffer? You can think of it like a shock absorber for reality. It's that space in your mind where you can hold two contradictory ideas, where you can wait for more information, where you can feel uncertain without having to immediately act or completely fall apart. It's a space for delaying the closure of a loop. And there it is. That's the answer. You don't just have a brain to solve problems. You have a brain to hold problems. You know, a jellyfish gets stung and it reacts instantly, but you can get insulted, feel that mismatch, but hold that uncomfortable state, consider your options, and choose a much better response later. That buffer, that ability to wait, that is the function. If this is true, it changes basically everything we think we know about what intelligence is, how we learn, and even our mental health. And what's so powerful about this model is how predictive it is. You know that feeling of being in a state of flow? That's a high coherence, low frustration state in the network. Anxiety? That's what happens when you have way too many open loops and unresolved mismatches. And something like trauma? The model sees it as a part of your brain's network getting stuck in a stable, but very high frustration, pattern that it can't break out of.
So, this completely flips our idea of intelligence. Being smart isn't about your brain lighting up like a Christmas tree in a scanner. It's actually the opposite. It's about the quiet efficiency of resolving mismatches and closing loops with the least amount of wasted energy. It's all about coherence, not chaos.
So, we started with a cosmic number and we ended up right back inside our own heads. This theory offers a totally new way to think about your own mind. It's not just about what you think, but about how your internal network handles mismatch, how it finds closure, and how well it tolerates the necessary frustration of just being alive. Which leaves us with a final personal question.